Hi, and you're welcome to yet another edition of Unfiltered Conversation on Tourism in Africa on Cleveland TV. My name is Frank Media, and like always, at Cleveland, we seek to be the middle point for all tourism stakeholders to help achieve your aims and in your objectives. All right, my guest this morning is Mr. Wondi Daniel Chinedu, who is the founder and executive director Students Without Borders International, and also the managing director, Swift Elevators Limited. And then we'll be discussing facilitating investment in sustainable education and tourism development in Africa. You're welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you very much.
It's all right. Let's start from the basics again, and let's get to hear your introduction. Who is Mr. Wondi Daniel Chinedu?
Okay, I'm Ambassador Nwodi Daniel Chinedu, the Executive Director, Student Without Borders International. I'm also the Managing Director, Swift Elevators Limited here in Lagos.
All right, let's talk about educational tourism now. We all know in Africa, it is not really what most of us are exposed to. All right, the concepts of educational tourism, how did it come about, and then why do you have interest in that area?
Okay, I think that angle comes from Student Without Borders. Like I said, we are a non-profit organization, so we try to develop young people and bring out their potentials. That's what we do in Student Without Borders. And one of our aim is to is education is one of like education tourism as an avenue of education, which is what we try to bring to the young people. So in that aspect, we actually started from the agricultural students because we discovered that most of these agricultural students does not even go to the farm. So which we have a very big farm in Republic of Benin. So we use that as an opportunity to take Nigerian students from Nigeria to that Songai's farm. It's a tourist center. Now, like we said, tourism as an avenue of education, you'll see that young people, especially students, they keep more in their brain when they go on tour, when they go on excursions. You'll see that what they see with their physical eyes cannot easily be forgotten,
Yes,
you know.
it is.
So that's why we decided to embark on tourism as an avenue of education. So we use this to teach them. We also use this to develop them. And you see these young people, they're always excited uh, going on these excursions or going on the tour, road tours, compared to when they are in the classrooms and you are just teaching them. So what they learn on the field, we discovered that it stays more in their brain than what they learn in the classroom. So that's why we decided to embark on this project.
Mm. That's the benefit of a hands-on approach. The brain retains more of that knowledge. All right, but
Yes.
you've said one or two things in the course of trying to analyze what educational policy tourism is all about and all that. But let's itemize the benefits. All right, the benefits of educational tourism to the students. Could you please come in there?
Yes, one, it exposes the students, it makes them to be very versatile, you know, it makes them to be, let me say, excited because you see, students are always very excited when they go to a place where they know that their minds are open. And that's when you see them, they'll be able to retain those things in their memory and it will stay there for very long time and they will keep talking about it. For instance, when I was in secondary school, we went to a place called Snake Island. I cannot forget that trip. That was just an excursion, you know, where we went on the ship, we went to the island and all that. So this remain and it will ever remain in their brain. So these are the benefits that students, and they also network. They also go to places because these places are places that they have not been to before. Maybe few of them may have been there, but most of them have not been there before. And this gives them an edge to be on, you know, to be outstanding. Let me use that word. Yes.
All right, even as a journalist, I think this is one of the first time I'm hearing of educational tourism in Africa. All right, and you are obviously in Nigeria. Do one or two things about it in that regard. Now, could you please rate, all right, the growth of the sector in Africa?
No, we are when it comes to tourism in Africa, no, we are still not there yet. We are just trying to exploit what we have. We have a lot of beautiful places in Africa, but we have not started projecting them to the world where people can now embrace it and people begin to come. Of course, yes, we are doing our best now to bring those places in town, to bring them to the light line. Like, for instance, now in Calabar, you could see that Calabar has turned to a tourist site where everybody wants to go to. So if every state or all right, like I said, in Calabar now, you see that Calabar is the place because of the Calabar Carnival that they do every year. Everyone wants to go to Calabar now. They've seen Calabar to be a tourist site now. Now, I'm saying if all governments or all state governments in Nigeria can project what they have, of course, there is no way each state has a tourist site. For instance, in Ogun State, you have the Olumo Rock that is there. In I think Ekiti State, you have the you have the spring water where you have the cold water and the warm water together. If everybody projects what they have to the world, everybody they will be attracted to it, and before you know it, people start coming down to Nigeria to see all these things. Like the one in Republic of Benin, the Songhai farm that I'm talking about, is one of the best farms in the world. And I tell you, there is no one that comes to that farm. There is no president that comes to Benin Republic that will not get to that farm. That farm has become a tourist site on its own. You see people coming from all over the world just to come and see that farm. And to shock you, it's a Nigerian that owns the farm, a reverend father that owns the farm. The farm is so big, all aspects of farming is there, and they use biogas. All the machineries that they use is locally made. Their pineapple juice is the best in the world. So people want to associate with things like that. People want to come close to things like that. So if we begin to project what we have, people will begin to, we begin to talk about what we have. You will see that people will want to associate with us. So in Africa so far, I think we are just moving very close, but we have not gotten there at all.
You talked about development of the sector and the people coming in to invest and on other things. Whose responsibility is it actually to grow the sector? Is it the government? Is it the stakeholders? Who has that responsibility?
Well, yes, the government has a role to play, but this is a sector that is just growing, which I expect that most people should also tap into it. You see so many individuals, they've not seen the opportunity that is in the tourism sector. But when people now start saying it, a lot of people want to get involved, and when more people get involved, you see it's spreading all over. Then people will hear that, oh yes, there is something actually going on in the tourism world. That's how it works. It's just that people have not seen the benefit. And it's the role of government to make sure that they try to educate the people to see the benefits that this tourism sector has, so that people can start coming into it and start investing into it. Because of course, you will not invest into what you don't know about. So it's the role of government to make sure that, yes, because all these things are natural resources, is not owned by individuals, it's owned by the government. So it's the government that should talk about it more, so that people will now see and know that, oh, so there's opportunities in this area. Then they would now start thinking of engaging themselves into it.
You made mention of opportunities in the sector, and I'd like to take my last questions from there. Does it really have economic value? So if there are, what are the economic value of education and tourism?
Why not? A lot of economic value, because definitely someone that is, if I plan to go to a destination right now, I've planned it. Definitely I'm coming in with money. Maybe, for instance, let me use within Nigeria now. If I'm going to go to like Ogun State to go and see the Olumoro, of course, my money is intact. I'm going to take transportation, or if I'm taking flights to the place, of course, it enhances economy. It enhances so much economy. I know of countries that what they do there alone is just that tourism that is driving what they have, that is driving the economy of that particular country. So why not? If we decide the tourism sector alone can generate enough revenue that will sustain, to an extent, it will sustain some things that would also contribute to the development of the country.
But and you will know that with everything that has to do with business, there will always be challenges, there will always be factors affecting the system. Now, let's x-ray those challenges. What are the challenges affecting that system?
Yes, in tourism, mostly the challenges that you have is either, like I said, the government's presence is very, very important. If the place is not accessible, is a challenge. You might have good resource, you might have good tourist centers, but the place is not accessible. There is no good road, there is no electricity, there is no water. How do you think people will be comfortable in that particular place? So they need to put all these things in place to make sure that when people comes there, because it's a leisure, people want to go to a place to relax. You are not to put burden, you are not to make them feel uncomfortable. They are going for for an adventure that they want to relax themselves. For instance, it might be family adventure. They want to go there and relax themselves and enjoy themselves. But if they get there and there is no water and there is no light, so what's the enjoyment that is there anymore? So these are the things, that some little challenges that is surrounding things. And again, the sustainability of that particular tourist site, it's also very important. If the government presence is not there, if they are not taking care of those things, the things will just rust and throw away, and people will not want to, it won't look attractive anymore. Like, for instance, now, if you go to the museum in Lagos, the National Museum in Lagos, I think it was the US Embassy that decided to fund it, and they renovated everything again, that whoever goes there now will feel comfortable. You understand? Because these things have been there for a very long time. So they are aging. They are already aging, and anything that ages will definitely die off. So, and if you don't take care of them, they will die off and they will not exist anymore. So they need to take care of them. They need to maintain them so that people, other generations, can also be seeing that particular thing. So these are little challenges that is
And I
in
guess
there.
that's why we believe that the government has a role to play in it, because Trace Tete, the
Yeah.
roles are actually supposed to be duties for the government to put in place. All right, let's go to your own company now, and with what you are trying to do in the sector, which is the Student Without Border International. What is the main focus, the aims and objectives of the organization?
Yes, in Student Without Borders, what we want to achieve is that we want to make sure that young individuals are exposed to information that can transform their lives. We try to help a lot of young people. Like in Nigeria, for instance, now we discovered that unemployment is a big problem in Nigeria. So, and as an HR professional, I make sure that all the networks that I have, the companies, some companies do consult me to recruit for them. So I make all this information available for young people and help them to secure their dream jobs, and also mentor them, because you see, you getting a job is not the problem. How do you sustain the job if you don't know what to do? So we need to mentor them. We need to put them in place. We need to guide them. So we teach leadership. We teach anti-corruption education. We teach human rights education. We teach drug-free education. These are the things that we do in Student Without Border, just to make sure that a young person will maximize their potential, because young people don't really know the kind of talent that they have. They don't know the kind of potential that they have. So it is our duty in Students Without Border to bring out the best out of them and make them useful to their society, you know. So these are little things that we do that also contributes to the economy, that contributes to the community, you know, in developing the community and also developing
All right. You
individuals.
made mention of education, educating them on corruption, and then it's one or two other stuff. And I would like to like how to really
Yeah.
educate somebody on education. But how you please you answer that, but what how do you really educate somebody on that? And then secondly, how easy is it for you running such an organization that you have to do with human beings? Knowing fully well that outgoing president actually made a statement and he said it's much more easy and it's easier for you to coordinate animals than human beings, knowing what and who Africans are. How easy is it for you to do that?
All right. You know, I told you earlier that I'm a human resource professional. So our duty is to manage human beings. So definitely we know that we have different set of human beings and our duty is just to manage them. So that's not a challenge for us because we have seen different types of human beings and we always keep, like we say in HR, we are teachers, we are psychologists, you know, we are event planners. So all these things are, you know, that's just it. We are mentors. So we guide people on what to do. So seeing difficult people, managing people is not a problem for us. So that's it. And in Student Without Border, it's actually self-funded. It's my passion right from when I was in secondary school. No, sorry, when I was in the university. So I started Student Without Borders, and the aim is just to help young Africans to maximize their potentials. That's exactly what we do in Students Without Borders. So now you talked about the anti-corruption education, that how do we teach them anti-corruption education? Okay, good. I want to tell you that in 2006, I was trained by the EFCC, Financial Crime Commissions in Abuja, on anti-corruption education. We call it integrity class. So in integrity class, it was actually organized by Leap Africa. I don't know if you know about Leap Africa. Leap
Okay.
Africa celebrated 20 years of recent. So I'm an alumni of Leap Africa. So, and we were taught integrity. So now we teach young people on integrity because we believe that honesty and integrity, we call it, that's moral values. We teach moral values. We teach ethics. Because if you check today now, you discover that most of these things that we are mentioning is rolling away. Is actually hardly will you see young people that wants to work hard and earn money. No, everybody is just looking for an easy way out and get their money. So we preach integrity. We try to tell them that, see, no matter what you do, hard work pays. No matter what you do, there are still people that live in Nigeria, that live in the world, and they are being honest and they are rich. They make their money through their sweat. It's not by cutting corners. It's not by duping people, you know. So these are the things we teach young people: integrity, ethics, and moral values. So these things are we teach it all. In fact, that's what people know us for. In Students Without Borders, they know us as anti-corruption crusaders.
All right, thank you for starting that. But do you see that? Do you see whatever you are doing that has having impact on the lives of the students? And do you think there can be a change in Africa where people grow up to actually think and believe that integrity is what every normal human being should be bestowed with?
Yes, to create an impact, it's a very difficult thing to do because the system is actually corrupt. So, but that doesn't discourage us. At least out of 100, we can still get like 2, 3, 4 people that have this integrity, and we preach it in schools, in classes, that to make sure that they do what is right. Because all what we are saying is that do what is right. That's what we are preaching. Do what is right. So the impact, yes, we have seen scenarios where people come and give testimonies of our teachings that are, if not for what you have told me, I don't know that this is this. I don't know that this exists. Because why? The system, we have actually imbibe in abnormalities to become normal. You know, that's the system that we find ourselves now. We celebrate people that are not meant to be celebrated, leaving out those that are creating impact, leaving out those that are trying to strive to make a change. But the society is what we see, is society that has made things to be like that. But it's not enough. We keep pushing, and the young people is our target. If we have 1 out of 100, we have created impact. We know that that one is also going to create another one, and before you know it, we keep moving ahead. So we are integrity champions.
There's the concept of catching them young, which actually happens to be the best in terms of education. All right, let's go over to your second company. I want to know if it's related to the first one, which is the Swift Elevators. Does it have a connection with the Students Without Borders International?
Of course, it's the same person that is running the two. Now, Students Without Borders is a non-profit organization. That's my passion. That's where the proceeds I get from Swift Elevators Limited, which is the business aspect of my life, I bring it to Students Without Borders, where we do things voluntarily and we do things free of charge to the students.
Oh, okay. All right. So what exactly do you do at Swift Elevator? Does it have to do with elevators or production?
Yes. Yeah. No. What we do in Swift Elevators Limited is we maintain, we install, we repair elevators. That's what we do. Now, coupled with the HR resources that I do, we give services to small enterprises, to companies. We do recruitment, we do trainings. You know, we do a couple of things that just to make sure that, like for instance, you want your staff to be productive. We can come to your company, train them, and tell them the reason why they need to be productive. You know, we teach trainings. We teach it's all about training, and we do recruitment. You see company coming to us to recruit for them, and anything that has to do with human resources, we actually are involved.
All right, Mr. Wonde Daniel Chinedu, I'd like you to leave us with a message, all right, to the government, stakeholders, and even youth of Africa on the benefits of tourism, of education and tourism.
Yes, what I will keep saying is tourism as an avenue of education. Every parent should encourage and try to take their children to a place of interest, a place, because as children are growing, if you take them to a place that they will never forget, you will see that they will keep saying this thing even after you have taken them there. That's children for you. That's young people for you. So they need to go to new places. They need to be exposed. Why do we have timid children? It's because they're not exposed. It's because they don't mix up with people. So you need to take your children out. Take them out for excursion. Take them out for retreats. Take them out to places that you know that people will be there. They can socialize themselves with people. So I would say that he who fails to plan plans to fail. Everything in life needs planning. Everything in life needs planning. And don't do what you know will damage your image.
Very, very late.
I think.
Thank you so much for being my guest this morning.
Thank you. Thank you, man. I'm grateful.
You're welcome. All right, and viewers, that is our package for today. Until next edition, I remain Franca Media. To have a blessed day.